Well, it's still morning at NTV, and this time I am coming to you live from the Warmers Hotel Gardens here in Impala, Katavi Town Council, Wakiso District. And this beautiful morning, of course, we will be speaking matters property management. Of course, we know with the 25% added value to property, thanks to the new management or property management companies that are coming through or into play. For we know the conversation and debate is between the tax remittance, tax evaluation, but also managing the tenant and landlord conflicts. We just want to understand how this comes into play to support the two and build the coexistence relationship between the two parties in property management. Many people, of course, running into this business, and many other, of course, clients coming through to join them. We want to understand what this really means. And with me this beautiful morning, I am joined by Mwesige Christopher, who is the manager, Sportnam Property Limited, one of the companies that, of course, into this business. And welcome with me on Morning at NTV, Christopher.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be on this TV.
Yeah.
Yes, very good morning to viewers.
We are talking about 25% added value to a property if it goes under a property management company, the one that you own. How does this come into play?
Yeah, thank you, Ivan. When you look at property management, we are coming in to formalize the business of property. Initially, property was not viewed as a formal business. But these days, it's coming in as formal business in that we understand exactly what the value it adds onto the owner or the proprietor. Now, you realize that in most cases, the proprietor gets into business unknowing what are the integrities that they're supposed to be going into. You're supposed to be knowing your investment that is going to run.
Yes.
That is supposed to be run by you and the tenant.
Yes.
Now, what brings in the property management? We are bringing in the value, the core value. We do advertisement of your property, whereby you know very much
if you
that
have rentals, you're the ones to market them and
Yes.
tell the public that you've got rentals for people who may come in.
Yes, as tenants. We do evaluate the tenants, screen them to make sure that you don't have any problem with the tenant. Because, of course, you know, really, some time back, the tenants could not sign any agreement with you.
Yes.
But these days, it's very formal that when you bring in the property management, we know by law that everyone should go into the agreement. You should know what you're supposed to be doing. You know your rights, and also the tenant knows his rights.
We have in the past seen the conflict between some landlords and tenants. Some tenants may not want to pay God 5 months and the rest of that, and you see landlords throw out their property, their belongings. But as a property management company, how do you deal with this?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ivan. That's what I told you, that you're supposed to go into a contract. A contract shows the terms that you're supposed to be going in. For the case of the bill that was out on, I think, in Feb 2022, the tenant-landlord contract, it clearly states all this. You're supposed to give someone a notice of eviction because that is his right. The right of the tenant, and also there is also the right of the landlord. So when you put these ones, if we put these, of course, integrities in the play, you find that you don't have any problem. First of all, if you've heard of people who come and fight. Yeah, you've had people who come and fight. The landlord comes and fight the tenant because he has not paid.
Yes.
But that is not the case. If you bring it and clearly there is an agreement that you should be paying.
You state your terms and know how you should operate or run.
Yes. So even the court can help you. In court, we have what we call small claims. You always, as the landlord, you have a right to go and claim. You have to file the case, and then the court will help you. That is exactly what we do. We teach the landlords what they are supposed to be doing and what are the repercussions of things that they do in case they did it at that time.
You know, we also have a challenge. I've seen some landlords complain about the new tax. For example, now you have the property tax, you have the rental tax by either the town council or the municipality, but also URA. Sometimes it brings confusion. I have a neighbor that one time was complaining, and I think it was being demanded about 16 million shillings, and was, inquiring how that amount was reached at, the evaluation and the rest of all that. So I know some landlords may be green about this tax evaluation, remittance, and what through your. So as an agency, how do you deal with this to help the landlords, or how do you link the two between maybe a tax collection body, which is URA, and then a landlord?
Thank you so much. You realize the way you called it a new tax, it's because maybe the URA did not bring all this to play. But the property tax has been in a play for a very long time, although the URA has not done so much to educate the landlords to know what they are supposed to be paying. But we have property tax, which is supposed to be remitted every financial year. The financial year of URA starts from June. From July 1st up to June. It ends with June. So for now that we are into a financial year of July, that started in July, we've gone ahead by 1 quarter. So in most cases, when you realize that there is a tax that is levied on you, you're supposed to be, of course, going to the tax offices or URA offices to find exactly what are you supposed to be doing.
How that amount was reached at?
Yes. There is also what you can do to the things that you can do to make sure that they did that. And in Uganda, URA, right now, we have a waiver. There is a waiver which is running from now up to, I think, 31st of December.
Yeah,
so this one, in most cases, people don't know about it, but they are always there. Secondly, you're supposed to be filing. In most cases, people don't file their taxes because they are very green about
Because
taxes.
I'm taking an example of you taking over property that was levied tax, and maybe the landlord is green about it. It has now grown over time. It has multiplied. So that's what I really wanted you to clarify.
Yeah, in most cases, when something like that comes in, you go to URA, and there's a table that helps you to, of course, put a waiver on that in case you give them the data that you've been getting. But the problem, you realize that in this property, most of them don't keep records. A tenant pays you for the whole year, but you don't have any record. So URA doesn't get to know the records that you have.
Yeah, how much somebody has been paying, and that's why they just estimate.
Yes, that's why you're supposed to be filing returns every financial year. So when you file returns, it gives a clear picture to the URA to know that, yes, this is the money that you've been collecting and you're supposed to be levied to this. But you realize that if you have time and go to the offices, or you come to us, we always educate you how you can always avoid, in most cases, avoid these other penalties that could be put on you for not filing. Because you're supposed to be filing every financial year. If you don't, URA penalizes you. By the way, 20% of what you're supposed to be paying.
Okay. But then also, somebody would be asking that, how do people get info? Because some people, I think, know that you're a third party in this matter. But getting to know that putting my property under a property management company could make somebody avoid this. How do you, for example, educate them about some of these things? How do you really go about it to have the people entrust you with their property?
Yeah, we have a contract that we sign, and there's a clause of confidentiality. When you give us a property, that means there are conditions that we are going to go into. We are not supposed to be disclosing your information unless we are told to do so. So in most cases, when we come into business, we are bringing to you that you're supposed to be doing 1, 2, or 3. Because this is a legalized, when you're dealing with a legalized company, that means it's supposed to be going through the law of the nation. So in most cases, when you come into our contract with us, we show you how you're supposed to be, of course, going with the law of the country. Now, the law pertaining to property management, how you're supposed to be behaving with the tenants, how you're supposed to be behaving with your taxes. Why should you be evading taxes when you're supposed to be paying taxes, rather? So you realize that when you come to us, we educate you, and you find that things are very normal to you, and business becomes very, 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 very good.
But then also, do you also incur cases where you have clients that do not pay, and this goes to the landlord now, where you now tell him clients have not paid and you also don't pay? Because we see this pop every time.
Yeah, you realize that this is our job. So why would we come to you as a landlord, a client who gave us the property to manage? So if we did, that means we are failing our duties. So it does not happen. We have a legal team who knows what he's supposed to be doing. We give, when someone doesn't pay for maybe other reasons, we have a procedure that we go through with the tenant. Of course, you realize that the tenant is our boss to some extent. If he is not there, we don't have any business. But of course, when we come into business, we have the procedure. We call the tenant to come and have an agreement with us why he's not paying. So after the commitment is signed, we, of course, if he fails to abide with the contract or with the commitment that is being signed, then we call it legal. We go to the legal, and then we see what we can do.
But now, what challenges come with this? Maybe if you can also highlight some of the challenges that as a property management company is also facing as far as how you're trying to link this relationship and grow the business.
Yeah, the challenges we face, of course, they are not very many. We keep, of course, eradicating the challenges slowly by slowly because we are formalizing this business. First of all, the challenges, people are very adamant on signing contracts. People don't like signing.
When they see a contract,
they think probably they want to sell off their property.
You are taking over their property.
Yes. So the challenges we face with very many people, with the tenants, is they don't want to sign the contract. But of course, we take a full package to explain to them that this contract helps you as much as it helps us. Because when you sign a contract, you know where you're supposed to do what and when you're supposed to do.
You also know your rights.
You know your rights. That's very good. So that is one challenge. Secondly, the economy. Of course, when the economy is bad, also the tenants don't pay in time. So that is the time that they will be coming every time and again.
And that's what I was going to ask you as well. Do you also have time? For example, I sign my contract, I pay your rent maybe 30th of every month. But due to the economy, like you said, I can ask for an adjournment or an extension of about a week or two, or can even give me a month.
It's very, very clear, depending on your history. There are some tenants who have a very good history. He had a job, he was working very well, and later on things changed. It's normal life. So when you come to us, that is a commitment that you tell us, and we, of course, understand you, and we can always understand how we can deal with it.
How do you give information to people? How can they access this information? Because what you've explained is quite important to a landlord, that you need to know your rights, you need to know what. So as a company, having places where landlords can come to, tenants also come to seek information.
Of course, we always open at our offices at Abaita Ababiri, Opportunity Bank Building, Spotnam Uganda Limited. We are always free for you to come and inquire anything pertaining to taxes, anything pertaining your rights as a tenant or as a landlord. Because as a landlord, you have your own rights that are very, very well stipulated in the law. And also the tenant has his own right, very well stipulated in the law. So in most cases, when you know all these rights, you don't rub shoulders with these other two. That's why the property management is very, very vital in this business. Yes, and secondly, the principles of the landlords, we are not taking this as a formal business, but as of course you know, Ivan, that a business has its own principles. A principle, you should always do periodical inspection of your houses. There are landlords who don't take it so serious to renovate their houses. So that's why we come in. We have very many service providers. So
you're trying to say one of the obligations you take, of course, is to beautify the business, be attractive?
So much. We do pricing. We, of course, evaluate the property and price it at a very, very good market level so that it's very good to maximize your profit as a landlord. So we also have very many service providers, the garbage collectors, the plumbers, the electrician, name it. So that in any case there is any issue to be, of course, worked on, it's very strict. So it's hands-on. We're always there. A tenant calls and there is an issue, we are always there to, of course, make sure that everything is well. Secondly, there is a principle of saving. You realize that landlord has a property of worth $1 billion, but at a day he doesn't have even a coin. because it doesn't save any money that comes out. So we educate financial management.
Yes.
How do you manage your finances? Because this is your business. Why don't you save a little that can be used maybe in your everyday life and also maybe renovations?
Yes.
So this is why we bring in this this service to you. See that your property becomes a very good. And another thing I need to tell you, Ivan, that there is no business that we run when you're running it as yourself. That is not a business. You need to give business someone, and then you watch
supervise.
it.
You become a supervisor.
Yes, because you realize. Imagine you had a journey like I've had you going to the U.S. Now imagine, how do you leave your property if you don't have the property
Somebody
manager?
who can run it.
Yes. So there are people who are even in the diaspora that they give us property. We run it exactly, even better than they would, because we have the expertise, we are trained, we have a team, we have relations managers who make sure that the property is very, very, very okay. So if I rate ourselves that we've been in business for quite long, and the people that are giving us business can testify, can attest how we are doing it for sure.
And also, these instances where you see a client has paid money, the landlord say you didn't pay because you said they do not keep records, but also the receipting system now is going digital, whereby if a client you are paying money, please don't give us cash. Pay to the bank, retain your receipt, or pay through mobile money, retain your message, transaction message, so that you really have your receipt at par.
Yeah, exactly, Ivan. Now, these days things are going digital. You realize that every day you make a transaction, you should have a proof of that. So long time ago, that is the ancient way. People would not even give receipts, so you have no proof. And now the landlord doesn't have any record that you've paid. So these days, it's a must that you should have a proof. For us, we don't pay using cash, because cash becomes an issue. When you have cash, Ivan...
And you also encourage them to pay using their phone so that they retain the messages.
That is very
They can retrieve the transaction through their telecom company.
And we have also banks. These days we have agency banking. It's becoming very, very, very easy to these people, to transactions to be made. We have banks. We tell you, come on, you bank the money. Don't keep with the money.
Yes.
Bank the money.
Yes.
And another thing to the property agents, now, for example, Spotnam allows installment paying of your rent.
Yes.
You can choose to pay every day.
Hey.
Can you imagine? You can choose to pay 10,000 if you're paying 300 as your rent. You can
Yes,
choose.
Saturdays you pay every day, you get your 10,000.
Yes, you have a proof that you've paid, so you have no issue. So if you're using a phone, it's very easy. Than you bringing a 10,000,
Cash. Yeah.
So we are making it very easy for the tenants. We are making it very easy to the landlords, so that the business can be very, very.
Okay, so Mwesige, my producer says we have run out of time. I want to only give you 15 seconds of your last words. Your maybe clients, your people there. Just 15 seconds.
Yeah, thank you so much. I need to appreciate the people that have given us property, that have really given us the confidence that they can work with us. We have very many clients. We need to appreciate that you've given us that opportunity to partner with you. But again, I need to encourage you that we should always keep attached with us, to keep, of course, knowing that your business is running well. We are always spotted. We are always at Spotnam Uganda Limited, open from morning to evening, and we are always there for any inquiries, even if you're not a client. But we pray that we can
come for inquiries. Well, thank you so much, really, Mwesige Christopher, for really making time to speak to us this morning on Morning at NTV.
It's a pleasure, Ivan.
Well, it's Mwesige Christopher, who is the manager, Spotnam Uganda Limited, just giving us insights on property management. For I earlier mentioned that it's said that 25% of value addition goes to the property once you go to a management company, and that's partly what we've been discussing here. I hope that somebody has borrowed a leaf or picked some information that may be of importance. But for time reasons, you'll allow me now get the conversation back to the studios. Chris, if you can listen to me, if you're getting me, please take the conversation away from me. Good morning to you, our audience.
K. Nyolov coming to us from NTV, and of course the final band is upon us, Morning at NTV, this 24th day of October 2024. Happy birthday, and that is the ritual that is ending the program today. And of course this comes from the birthday wishes are coming from Rosemary and family. They say they love you and may the good Lord bless you in all your endeavors. And as we say always on the Morning at NTV, may the stars align themselves and spell your name into a great destiny. I'm Chris Higenyi. It's been a pleasure having your company on Morning at NTV today. On behalf of my colleague Priscilla Regina Naloga and indeed the entire team behind the scenes, many thanks. Have yourselves a good day. We shall see you tomorrow, Friday.